Well, the name is Darryl O'Young, and I'm racing this year with LKM Team Jepson in the Porsche Cup S. And this is the big Macau Grand Prix weekend, and I'll be competing in the Macau GT race. Well, we're going to head off on a drive around the circuit. We're driving a Porsche Cayenne. Here we are in a family wagon, but it's not going to be a little bit different when I'm driving my race car. But we're going to go around and do a lap, just a slow lap around, and look at maybe different parts of the circuit and show you what are the hard parts and which are the, I know the circuit like the back of my hand, so there's a lot of tricks and things that might interest people, so maybe we'll do a lap and see how it goes. So here we are, this is the front straight. You can see on the left side there's the ferry terminal right over there, so that's where you come off the ferry normally. So these buildings are permanent now. They've had this for so many years here. This is the main tower where they do all the timekeeping. And then the right sides are the grandstands where all the people sit. So usually these grandstands are quite full by the race weekend. And above here is the start lights. So this is where we know where to go. Right now, these first two corners is really the high speed of the track. By the time we get to the end of the straight here, we're at over 260, 270 kilometers an hour. So it's really, really high speed stuff. You try to do it without lifting off the gas, and that's the hard part, because when you get right on this corner, you can't really see it right now, but we're actually on the right side, right against those barriers by the time we exit the corner. And you can see, like, doing this corner at 200, like, there's not much room for mistake. You make one error, you get on the gas a little bit too early, or you carry a little bit too much speed. At 200k, you're not going to be able to correct it by the time you exit the corner. So that's what makes it difficult. Like, this is the high speed section of the track, and this is where it's really make or break. We'll go through this corner at 220. You can see it's blind. It's a blind corner, so you can't actually see the exit until you're already through the corner. That's what makes it hard, because you're going 220 through here, and this barrier here on the left is friends to many people where they've met the wall, I could say. Like, definitely a lot of people have crashed there. This event has been so many years, and it's grown from amateur series up to top professional racing now. And I think definitely the Macau Grand Prix has improved a lot. Like, these grandstands were not nearly this big even 3 years ago. It was a lot smaller, and now you can see it's a massive grandstand, and it's sold out completely. So it's really taken a big steps forward for motorsport in this region, and it's still establishing itself as the best, as the biggest race in Asia. From history, like this is one of the areas where a lot of cars get crashed, and then the car gets blocked, the track gets blocked. So we're in third gear going up here, and this corner is really important because this is where we head up into the hill section, and it's never the same watching it on video, but it's a big steep incline, and it's a really serious incline up. It's a big hill, and if you don't get it right exiting this corner, you lose all your speed coming up this hill. Look, if you notice, everything is blind. You can't see the exit of the corner until you're through, so that's why confidence is a big factor here, and track knowledge. Entering here, we brush up right against this wall so we can get ready for this right-hander, and again, it's really tight, so you basically, your car is nearly scraping. I've scraped my car against these walls like many times, like inside of this corner, on the exit of these corners. Like, I've scraped my car completely against this wall before, and it doesn't slow me down because I didn't lift the gas, but it's just you're trying to maximize that much of the track. I remember the first time I came here, I was like, where am I on this track? I'm completely lost. And that's what many drivers feel. They get really lost in this hill section because it's a series of right and left corners. So you can see how narrow these are. We do it in third gear through these corners, which is probably carrying about 120 kilometers an hour, about 120, but we're going through these sections with full speed, and it's a really narrow track, so we're really fighting the car. Sometimes the car gets a little sideways through here, and you're scaring yourself pretty much. But I remember that wall very well because it pretty much destroyed the whole front right of my car, and the mechanics did a great job to fix the car overnight for the race. I think the main challenge is going to be getting 3 consecutive wins. In 07 and 08, I was able to take victories, so it's one of the circuits where they're really left untouched. Like, they haven't made big changes and modifications. This circuit's really how it was 50 odd years ago, so that's what really makes the circuit special. And actually, last year I was able to set a new record in a GT car ever on this track. It's 2 minutes 27 seconds, and I'm hoping this year that I can get down 26 seconds or even 25 seconds. You can't just go out there and push hard like a big lap, or else that's where it usually ends in tears. Again, the crew's setting up the rest of the circuit here as we finish up. Once the circuit's all clean and ready to go, it's quite nice. And this part here is, it's a pretty slow section of the track, but you cannot overtake. Through all this back section here, you cannot overtake because it's just so narrow, and that's where you really gain time as a driver. You have to be able to drive fast here and not get held up, so you can make it through quickly. After you exit Donna Marie here, it's really tight. Some guys try to overtake here. I've seen cars try to overtake here and it always ends up in a mess. Two cars pretty much end up crashing and going out wide here. I'm down to first gear normally, which is unheard of for many tracks, so it's a really tight first gear corner here. And until you exit this corner, you're not allowed to overtake. So that's pretty much one of the more famous corners. It's called Melco. You need lots of straight speed because now we're going back to the high speed section of the circuit, which is down the bottom here. And it's a combination of two corners called R-Bend and Reservoir. Those are the final two corners of the circuit. But if you can get these two corners well, then you're well on your way to not being overtaken down to Lisboa. If you get these corners wrong, and your competitor gets right behind you, then he has a really good chance to overtake you down to the bottom straight. As we enter here, this is the final bend of the corner of the circuit, and if you can come back here in the lead for the last lap of the race, it's a nice feeling to pass through this corner and come to the checkered flag on the other side. And if you're not in the lead of the race, then the feeling is a little bit different, I guess. You're not really ecstatic and happy, but I've been lucky to have a lot of good emotions coming through this corner as the final lap of the race to take victory. And I've won here now, and I won Macau in three victories in Macau, and I'm going to be going for my fourth this year. So hopefully I can get that done and take my fourth. I'm trying to go for my fourth win and my third consecutive. So we'll see how that goes.